good. He woke you up this morning. Ain't nothing good about waking up this morning. I got to explain it to you. I know that's over your head. But life is death, and what you call death is life. That's the realm of freedom. We're going to go into this right now. Ready? The psychic man, let me read it again. The psychic man has been instructed by psychic matters. They are strengthened by the works of mere faith, but they do not have perfect knowledge. They belong to the earthly church. Good conduct is necessary for them. Otherwise, they cannot be saved. But we spirituals, as well as the psychic, all of them go in the same place. Well, you just ought to know right now. It's just talking to the people that know. We spirituals shall certainly be saved, not by good conduct, but simply because we are by nature spiritual. That's what the little man with the third grade education told you 60 years ago, but you followed Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King. You followed that damn cracker. But Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you 60 years ago that the nature of black people is spiritual, no matter how they behave themselves. You see, this is in the Gnostic scripture that made up the Bible. The Bible made it moralistic and messed it all up. You wasn't supposed to do the moral thing. Your nature's moral. A dog don't need no book to be no damn dog. Africans didn't need no book to be human. You were human by nature. You only fell apart 5 years ago. 6 years ago. You was human all the way up to the late 80s. Certain things you didn't do. Hell, a nigga didn't admit, it wasn't cool to admit you went down on a girl until the late 80s. Let's be frank about this. We was humane. Oh no, I don't do that kind of stuff. No. I'm just talking about the black people. Don't get me wrong about this type of thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a conservative people when it came to shit. Right. The black woman is still the most conservative person out there when it comes to giving up something. So how the hell she gonna be the #1 AIDS recipient if somebody don't give a shit? Nigga might be 4 or 5 months if he get with the right sister trying to get something. Know what I'm saying? The most conservative on the planet, but she doesn't come now #1 recipient of AIDS. Please. White girl give it out on both draw legs. And she ain't got nothing. They even screw the dogs. That's right. That's what the dog was, a woman best friend too. Come on, Fido. Let's get with it. Let's get with it. Y'all all right? Yeah. We will certainly be saved simply because we are by nature spiritual. Just as the earthly cannot participate in salvation, that's talking about the white man, he was created on earth. Just as the earthly cannot participate in salvation, it is not capable of receiving it. Salvation is within, they say. And the salvation they talk about, you're already saved because you're saved by the Christ. The Christ is nothing but Melanin, Christos, anointed one. The earthly cannot be saved by salvation because they cannot receive it. They are incapable of receiving it because they don't have it. They're not born with it. In the Gospel of Thomas, which is the Gnostic scriptures, say that which my Father did not plant cannot be plucked up. You see? So in turn, we spiritualists, or we Melanites, cannot accept decay. No matter what actions we undertake, no matter if you go out there and screw up a storm, drink up a storm, whatever you do physically or immorally, you still gonna be saved anyway. Because ye are God's. Just as gold is placed in the mud, it does not lose its shape. Its beauty retains its own nature, and the mud cannot harm the gold. So we cannot damage or loosen our spiritual nature, even if we engage in various material actions. You cannot do it. You cannot damage, or you cannot go to the higher realms no matter what you do. Even if somebody kills you. Because the physical is an illusion. It doesn't exist. It's only an emanation of something someplace else. That you have fallen into the physical five senses and thinking that the physical body is you. It is not you. Those of the church receive grace on a loan. Therefore, will be deprived of it. But we have it in our possession after it has come down from above, the ineffable and the unnameable par. For this reason, it will be bestowed on us. And we must always meditate in the mystery of the union every day. Whoever is in the world and does not love a woman does not love a woman, so that he unites with her is not of truth. You see what I'm saying? So the Bible tells you that the woman is a no good and she's the lowest thing and all. And here they say you got to get with the sister. And will not obtain truth, but he who is from the world and unites with woman will not attain truth, but lustfully unites with woman. And then it goes on to say that this reason the psychics who are in the world must practice and continue with good conduct. So this is also talking about here. It's also talking about unite with woman. It's talking about spirit, but it's also dealing with what the church does. Is redoing what the church says about all this shit about women being evil and all this kind of thing also too, as well as the homosexual kid. But anyway, it says that you can't damage your soul no matter what action you take within it. Now, let's go into some other signs. Y'all all right?
All right.
This picture that I showed you right here of the gods who live on earth, the beings who live below say that God is on high, while the angels in heaven say that God is on earth. Right here is a picture of Amen, the ram head, with the ram head. These pictures was later on, the ram ears was later on that here and on the god Hathor Heheru with the actual horn. In Greece, they had another god called the Greek god Pan, a goat-headed god. And later on, that goat-headed god, the Greek god Pan, later on was chosen by the Christians as the symbol of the devil. This is a spiritual picture. You see the star in the middle of the head, which represents the third eye. The horns just represents united with nature, or united with nature. The goat, if you notice right here, you also see the Masonic symbol. All of this is ancient mythology. When the Christians, even Diop told you that even the Hebrews didn't even have no hell story until 100 years before Jesus Christ. But they borrowed the hell story from the Egyptian book of Gates. And it's nothing but talking about the different chambers of your soul and the different parts of your mind getting back to the spiritual realm. And hell also means the deepest part of the subconscious, called a mentor, which is inside of you. Hell's fire, baptized by hell's fire is the Kundalini, which is the energy that you see, the double helical structure that I showed you that goes and bathes the black dot. That's the hell's fire. That's the hell's fire. Right here, the Kundalini energy, which is a cosmic fire inside of you. It's the fire behind fire, 100 times hotter than fire. It rushes up the spine. The 32 columns of the spinal system, you got the 32 years of Christ. Well, there's 32 columns of the spinal system. When you get to the top of the shit, you are Christ. Had nothing to do with no man and no damn 2,000 years ago. That's fake. Christ never existed. If Christ existed, the world would have ended when it was supposed to end then. That's why you ever thought about this? Why is it you ain't got no black Jew ever bought hold of that bullshit. Oh, Jesus is a Jew. Why the hell you ain't got, why the Jews don't believe in that shit? You want to know why? Because the Hebrews came out of Hemmitt. The high priest, Moses, which was the priest of Musa, which was the priest of Akhenaten, took them out and taught them the damn truth. They were northern Ethiopians of the line of Akhenaten. So they knew the mystery system. They knew that the Christ was supposed to come only at the end of the world. Not come up in there walking around here with some damn sandals and get his ass killed. He ain't Christ. If you study what alchemy, the study of Christ is the study of alchemy, which is the study of melanin. When this thing gets to the top part and you get that crown chakra, the whole world gonna blow up. It will end as soon as we get to the Christ level. Ain't no way in hell he gonna get to the Christ level and then get killed and can't do shit. If you understand the metaphysical thing of what Christ is, he couldn't have been Christ. But he was Christ because we are all Christ. Like I am. So they say, yeah, this man was Christ and shit. Everybody else was Christ. He says in the Bible, just as I have done great works, greater works ye shall do. It's also one in, I can't think of what it is. I'll try to find the passage in a few minutes. It's one says, if the Spirit bears witness with our spirit, then we are the sons and daughters of God. And if we are the sons and daughters of God, then we are heirs of God, joint heirs with the Christ. So whatever the Christ is a Christ symbol of what you're supposed to be. You're not Christ in the coming that you haven't gotten your Christ crown chakra, but you're a Christ, period. You're joint heirs with the Christ, so it means you're Christ too. Same damn thing. Not no what's that? Go ahead.
That's Paul writing, when he was writing his Philippians, he was explaining that to them, like what you just said.
Right.
It's one of his epistles to the Philippians.
Right. If you really go back and all, yeah, it's all in there. It's all in there. And it was a book written for them, a chronicle book of our soul. Old Testament, New Testament, old body, new body. The book is us. We are the book. The mystery to the Bible is you're supposed to go in the Bible, read the Bible. Everywhere Christ is, you're supposed to put yourself as a guidebook to your damn soul. The Quran, you're supposed to put the guidebook of your soul. You don't supposed to be reading the book following Christ. Hell, you are Christ. That's for the cracker and the people of the other race who are not you to guide by so they can just get along while they're on the earth. That's to keep them from killing each other. Look what they did with the damn book. You think if they didn't have a book, none of us would be here talking. That was just a moralistic book for the lesser beings on earth. But they were following the nature of the black man and black woman who is Christ. You're supposed to go to the book, and everywhere you see Christ, that's you. The word Jesus is what's throwing you off. You thinking of some objective entity that lived 2,000 years ago to some white man. But even if you deal with Barashanga, even if there is a historical person, he wasn't nothing but another nigga just like you. See what I'm saying? That nigga had a big bull can in his hand too, drinking some slit small liquor. He wasn't no more than you, and no more spiritual than you. Christ means a title or a whole race of people, the original people, the great old ones.
Amen, brother.
See what I'm saying? Later on, this symbol is drawn by Alypius Levi, the Sabbatic goat, and this becomes the symbol of the devil, which is the rosemary baby, which is a metaphysical symbol. You see the star in the head, you see the black moon and the white moon, which is the same as the yin and the yang symbol, which is the same as the yin and the yang symbol. You see the black moon and the white moon. You also see the Kundalini energy coming up right here. You see the breast, which represent both male and female energy. You see what I'm saying? The power shooting out there is the real spirit. This later on becomes a symbol of the devil by the Christians. They borrowed it from the Greek god Pan. This is a spiritual symbol. Anytime you ever see this, this is a spiritual symbol. Now what does all this really mean? Anytime, what is the original Christ? is the original Christ?
We are.
Yeah, I'm saying, no, I'm saying, but even in the mythological aspect, who was the original Christ that precedes the Christian representation of Christ? Heru, Horus.
Right.
Jesus, in this case, which is hard, said, Satan, get behind me. Satan, get behind me. Satan, get behind me. The base of the skull, the base of the spine and the top of the skull, no, the base of the skull and the top of the spine is the most concentrated part of melanin, the medulla oblongata, the mouth of God. Satan, get behind me is melanin, soot on. Soot, which means the triple blackness of space, or the most ancient god ever to exist. On is Anubis, which means opening, black hole, black guide. This is Anpu Anubis, the black and gold one. Satan, get behind me is talking about your true self. It's metaphysical. This is Horus and Seth. Why are they the two? If this is the devil, why are they the two deities? Why are they two deities? Horus, Seth. It's metaphysical. Horus is called Great Face. What did I say the face of God was? The pineal gland. In the back of you, you got the melanin in the most concentrated part. In the middle of the brain, you got the pineal gland, which synthesizes the melanin and brings light. Brings light. See it bringing the light? Brings light. Lucifer means pineal gland. You got to turn everything around. That's right. We can go into the history of this shit. You ain't dealing with no Rudy Poop motherfucker. I can back my shit up with scholarship. I ain't like no nigga coming up, just giving you some shit. You be like, oh, you supposed to. First of all, you don't supposed to follow none of this shit. It ain't about following. It's about understanding. Look, it's simple. They put the okie doke on the nigga ass. Look. The average citizen, he come by and he read the scripture, and he think it's moralism. The priest come by, the initiate come by, and he might think it's a level, and the priest come by and they know the real terminology. It ain't even got nothing to do with no good and evil. You see what I'm saying? It's yin and yang, light and darkness, energy. Show you what this is like. You get the skull and the crossbones on a bottle. It might be on a bottle of bleach, right? Let's say 2,000 years come and the person done lost the meaning of what bleach is, and they see the skull and the crossbones, and they say, that's some evil stuff. But to you who know, you know it's a formula. It just means the skull and the crossbone don't mean it's evil. It means it's a powerful aspect of the formula. These are formulas. So Satan just meant the most potent form of the formula, the essence of God. In Blavatsky's secret doctrine, they say when the church curses Satan, they're only cursing the cosmic reflection of God. In the beginning, it was what? No, it was darkness. And from the darkness came the damn light. Right? You get it? Came the light. Satan ain't talking about nothing but your true essence. That's what it's talking about. So the church is all set up to tell you to curse Satan is talking about cursing melanin, the prince of darkness. You are the prince of darkness. Lucifer means light bringer. Pineal gland brings the light and the light up the darkness. In the Garden of Eden, what happened?
I said that's terrible.
In what aspect? That they would deceive us, you're saying?
Well, we're doing this. We're hurting ourselves. It's terrible.
Yeah, in that aspect, not understanding. Now check this out. In the Garden of Eden, the tree of life. Where the hell is the tree of life? This is the tree of life. The Kabbalah. That's the tree of life. He said, the tree of good and evil. He said you can eat from all the fruit, but you can't eat from the tree. Long come the serpent, which is the kundalini. This is the serpent right here. This tree of life and this tree of life is one and the same. This is an Egyptian one from the temple of Komombo that the Hebrews later adopted as the tree of life. And this is the one from the temple of Tahuti, or the priesthood of Tahuti, is the same damn symbol. The serpent say, don't eat. The serpent say, go ahead, which means your kundalini energy rises up and eats the apple, which is your third eye, called the Bindu seed. Up here, the tree of life, the serpent crawls up the tree of life and they eat a part called a daf. Now, the Hebrews take this part off because the white Hebrews don't have daf. That means melanin. So they take this point off, which means daf, D-A-A-T-H, a dat. Blackening stage, melanin. That's where you get the word Darth Vader from. The dark side, pure melanin. Darth Vader was called in, Joseph Campbell was called in to help them work with Star Wars, and it's adequate. The Jedi warrior, the jet black eye, melanin. The Jedi warrior, the Djed pillar. You know what the Djed pillar is in Kemet? It's the backbone of Osiris. What's the backbone of Osiris? Bam! Backbone of Osiris. The Jedi warrior. The Jedi what? The black eye, the eye of Heru. Darth Vader. Darth, right there, D-A-A-T-A, the black dot. You don't know the powers of the dark side. Everybody got the black man to do the voice. The powers of the dark side. Then the hero, Luke Skywalker, rises up, conquers Darth Vader, who is his father, and becomes the Christ. We're talking about darkness, light coming out of darkness. The hero, Heru. The word hero comes from the word Heru, and the word hero is Greek for great face, face of God, pineal gland. Lucifer, light bringer. Satan. Let's go through some history. Let's go through some history. So what you didn't realize is the Egyptian thing, the Osirian drama, is a later version. The original people that came out of Atlantis and Lemuria were called the Typhonians. The Typhonian tradition matured, declined, even before the first monumental phase of the earliest civilization. This was written in fragments of original mythical lore current in Egypt and the Far East. The traditional lingered on and became corrupt in passing epics. Gradual attrition of the old age lineage of initiates, harassment and warring factions seeking temporal power at the expense of intemporal, inter-traditional space knowledge, sifted the sparks and foiled the spring of ancient wisdom. These particular writings later on became, in later centuries, the alchemical writings of the West, occult tantras of ancient India, and other occult things that you have now that the actual secret societies deal with. Now what this is this. There was an older tradition. Let me go to the history of this thing. Let's get some glossary so you will understand. You got to understand this thing. You got to turn everything around. Before Amun-Ra and Osiris, Osiris was named Sut, black one. Set is first, or Set, later on become the killer of Osiris. It's metaphysical is what it is. First of all, Osiris was cut into 14 pieces. The 14 pieces represent the 14 dimensions of your shattered mind. That's why black people are schizophrenic. The 13 pieces. Your mind is shattered into 13 pieces. You're putting together the pieces. The main piece that is missing to bring the other 13 pieces in is the penis, which is not the phallus down here. It's the pineal gland, pineal gland, which is the 14th piece. And once that lights up, the other consciousness comes back into view. It's shattered. We're schizophrenic. You see? That's what it's talking about. It's talking about 14, 13 pieces of consciousness. Soot, first and therefore the oldest deity, Seth, the prototype of Satan, and the god whose worship of the star Sirius, Osiris. The soul of Isis, Seth, the goddess of the 7 stars, is represented in Ursa Major in the heaven. The word Set or Soot means black. That indicates not only the regenerative process, but this god is also associated in a mentor, hidden god. A mentor is is the deepest part of your subconscious. From the being of the gods of heaven, Set fell beneath the horizon and became recognized in later mythologies as the Lord of Hell, the hidden land. Hell is the hidden land inside your brain. That's where you are. You are the Lord of Hell. How many people saw Spawn, the movie Spawn? That's what it was all talking about. They turned the shit around. He was supposed to get his Hell's army and go to the gates of heaven and tear down the damn gates of heaven. I'll explain that in a few minutes, what that shit means. I'm explaining it in a few minutes. In magical terms, Set is the epitome of dormant subconscious and activisms, which is talking about your subconscious, the god of supreme importance. Now, what happened was this. The oldest religion we have on the earth is something called Typhonianism or Ophidianism. The reason why you don't know nothing about it is because Gerald Massey went into the British Museum and wrote his 6 volumes, Natural Genesis, Book of the Beginnings, and Ancient Egypt, Light of the World, and broke the secret. There's some older stuff in Hemmitt, which was all black. What happened was, after he came out of the British Museum, they locked up all the Typhonian things, and now the only people see it is the occult people, the secret societies. The Typhonian religion, or Set religion, later on traveled out of Hemmitt. It went to Mesopotamia. This is still all black, in Samaria. Set was later on worshipped as Sut-on or Shaitan, which is a group of people that worship Shaitan, which is called the devil worshippers of ancient Kurstadun, or the Yazidi tribe is the name of these people. One man's God is another man's devil. Remember that shit. The devil worshippers of ancient Kurstadun or Mesopotamia, or they call the Yazidi tribe, worship a god called Sut-on or Shaitan, or Tatan or Teton. Later on, these group of Mesopotamian worship was called the Phoenicians, and they traveled over to Greece and Rome, and their names at that particular time was called the Tyrrhenians, or the Etruscans, or the Etrurians, and later on Troy. You hear about the Greek people killed Troy, Trojan horse? That was the last group of black people that started Greece and Rome. They started the Latin language in Greece, the Greek language, these advanced language. How the cracker gonna start a language and he couldn't talk from the cave? Then some Indo-Europeans came down and they taught them the stuff, and just like the Native Americans, they killed them all off. The last battle was when they killed off the people at Troy, was the last people of that land. And they left a vast mythology behind. So Shaitan, came Teton, later on become the Titans, which was the black ones that fell. We're going to get in that in a few minutes. Soot in Egypt was in Nubia, or Sut Nubit, or Sutnesi, black and one. Or it was also in Mesopotamia, Samaria, it was called Sutek, and that's where you get the word Melchizedek. Anytime you see the word male on the beginning of a word, it means black. Melanin, they got it from the Greek word black. If you get Robert Graves' book, Greek Myths, because the Greek mythology is ancient black mythology. It was called Etruscans before it was Greek. The Etruscans are the black people who established Greece and Rome. The language and the mythology was all black. The other Greeks, the white Greeks, later on went into Egypt and learned from the Egyptians, but the early thing, the Iliad and Odyssey of Homer, is all black. You see, it's all black. Now, to try to understand this,